Welcome to Get Over It, the consciousness transforming podcast for exceptional 21st century living. Folks, we've got a very exciting show today. We're going to interview a man who had been completely paralyzed from the neck down, healed himself, and is now and I'm looking at him and he's rocking in his chair and he's fine, folks. And he's going to share how he did it and then how you can do it too. But more importantly, in his book, Self Healing, Supercharged Self Healing, a revolutionary guide to access high frequency states of consciousness that rejuvenate and repair, he shows you how to do it. And then if you want to go a little bit deeper, you can definitely contact him. I just got to say, folks, his energy works. Okay, it truly does work. Now, the information shared on Get Over It uses intuitive and pragmatic insight to help you shift your consciousness to break through blocks and release energy that is no longer needed. Yes, we're going to help you let go of the BS that is holding you back. But you guys know I always ask that question: are you truly ready to? And by the way, folks, BS is belief system. A bit about me for my new listeners: intuitive since birth. I'm a third generation intuitive with over 3 decades of experience supporting people to break through the blocks along their path. I'm a strategist for personal and professional transformation, revealing cutting edge information that enables you to prosper and thrive. I spent 25 successful years in corporate America as an executive sales professional, and I am the founder of Healing Visions Ministries and the Northern California Children's Education Network, a 501c3 nonprofit. I provide consultations and healings in all areas of life that heal the mind-body-spirit connection, allowing you to live your very best life. My clients tell me that I keep it real while providing them with accurate information to assist them along their journey as a spirit living a human existence. But they also say, if you really don't want to know, don't ask Monique. My background includes a doctorate in metaphysics, Reiki master teacher, ordained minister, and clinical hypnotherapist. So whether you are stressed, depressed, or possessed, I can help. To find out more about me and the services I offer, go to my website, and that's moniquechapman.com. And I invite you to like me on Facebook and follow me on Twitter and LinkedIn. And folks, if you like the podcast, please subscribe. Tell your friends. We like to meet new people. Okay. Now, my guest today, RJ Spina, is a metaphysical teacher and healer who overcame chest down paralysis, diabetes, pancreatitis, Hashimoto's disease, and several other serious illnesses. He offers healings, counseling, meditation, and self-realization instruction throughout the world. RJ currently lives in San Diego, California, and you can visit him at his website, and that is ascendthefrequencies.com. Again, all one word, ascendthefrequencies.com. Welcome, RJ.
Thank you very much for having me, Monique. It's my pleasure.
Hey, it's great to have you here. Absolutely love the book. You delve deep into the weeds, but you speak truth at the same time, and it's very easy to digest. It just requires what I found out in the book is one thing, and that's for you to do the work. So let's back up a bit and talk about you. What happened to you? How did you get out of it as far as being paralyzed?
Yes. So the beginning of 2016, I started to feel very unwell. I had no energy, couldn't focus, couldn't think straight. I had severe brain fog, absolutely exhausted. So I wound up checking myself into the ER, and I wound up being there for about 2 weeks. And I was diagnosed with sepsis. I was also diagnosed, and this was all news to me, type 1 diabetes, being a type 1 diabetic, hypothyroidism, Hashimoto's autoimmune disease, and my blood sugar level was something like 500 or 600. It was very bad. So I stayed there for about 2 weeks. They gave me a really strong antibiotic. And actually, when I got discharged, roughly 2 weeks later, the antibiotic that I need for the sepsis was so strong, they literally put, it's like a stent into my arm. And so every 8 hours that I would have to administer this antibiotic. Now, unfortunately, It didn't work to clear up the sepsis because about 6 weeks later, after being discharged from the hospital, I became permanently paralyzed from the chest down and required emergency life-saving surgery, which is what they actually performed, Monique, was a laminectomy, which is where they scrape off the infection literally right off your spine.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And so the prognosis, and you can see a video of this on the homepage of my website. You can see surgeon's notes. You can see a copy, the MRI of my spine. You can see my crushed spine. You can see the surgeon pre-surgery, complete paraplegia, post-surgery, complete paraplegia. The best way that I can describe what happened after the emergency life-saving surgery is that I had fully awakened into what we can authentically call cosmic consciousness. And as a little kid, I used to leave my body, and I used to say, if I ever get sick, I'll just heal myself. But the remembering of the mechanics of that was completely back in 1 second. It's almost like someone just pulled back a curtain and I could see and understand everything. And in one moment, I knew exactly how to put myself back together, the metaphysics of it, the exercises, the protocols, and I even began saying it, oddly enough, as if the story isn't odd already, but I even began explaining the mechanics of self-healing and self-realization to the ICU nurse. And she's like, how do you know this? And I didn't really answer because it would have been even more bizarre to answer why I knew.
Right.
But I said that I'd heal myself in 100 days. I said I would walk unassisted in 100 days, and that I would have no signs of any of the chronic diseases that I had, and certainly not the sepsis, which still wasn't cured. And all this is documented on a video right on my website. And in 100 days, I walked as I said I would do.
Now, did the sepsis lead to the paralysis?
Yeah, I mean, my understanding now, at the time, the army of doctors didn't really know where any of this was coming from. But what I think happened is that I had the sepsis, and it was quite bad. I was told I wouldn't even live another 48 hours.
Oh, wow.
So as they were just pumping me with the antibiotics to try to take care of the sepsis, I think I got flooded with it. And so what happened is the virus actually hid itself within the vertebrae of my spine to sort of evade what my bloodstream was getting hit with, which would nullify it or kill it. And so it just got worse and worse. The back pain that I started to experience once I got discharged from the hospital was just absolutely incredible. And then about 3 or 4 days prior to just becoming completely paralyzed, it was absolutely excruciating. I remember making 2 trips to the ER and just telling them that this level of pain, it's like I can't even think straight, that the pain, I just want to scream. And so, they gave me Vicodin and
wonderful.
and sent me home. And then it was only a couple of days later that I became permanent, quote unquote, I'm doing air quotes, permanently paralyzed.
Yeah. Well, since we know that's not true, with everything that you just went through, what you just described, how was it, and you address this in the book, but please address it for the audience, how was it you didn't fall into victimhood, like, poor me, all of these people have done things to me, and, I'm just going to give up. I mean, you did the complete opposite, but what kept you from becoming the victimhood? Because in the book, you talk about victimhood exists in the unawakened mind. Did you know your mind was awakened at that point?
Yes. Yeah. I've always been, we'll use the word odd or like this, if you will. Something did definitely occur when I woke up from emergency surgery in terms of my understanding of things. We like to joke it was RJ 2.0. That makes
I
sense.
like
So
that.
the understanding of, I'll use the word detachment. Okay. So Monique, this is from my perspective and what I've done with myself and helped others and what I'm able to access in terms of my own higher mind. Detachment is really the key. So there's no victimhood. You don't see yourself as your body. You don't see yourself as your thoughts. You don't see yourself as your emotions. And if you don't see yourself as your body, you don't see yourself as the experiences that the body has had. And so now at this point, you're starting to work with more and more of the truth that you are this immortal, divine energy being that is simply having, we'll say, a human experience.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, because I used to just literally just leave my body as a child, I never had to wrestle with the idea that we are spirit. This was tangible for me as literally as a little kid. So I've always known I'm not my body because I would experience leaving my body and looking at my body. So when all of these things occurred, the massive illness and the trauma, I was detached. I realized that my body was, for all intents and purposes, destroyed. I couldn't feel it anymore, and it certainly didn't work on any level. But it didn't touch what I really am. And as an analogy, because I know for people in the beginning of this journey, detachment is probably the hardest thing to do.
It is. Yeah.
We identify with everything, but maybe this analogy will be helpful. I'm in San Diego, by the way, so it's pretty much always sunny. So
that's okay. You can be
is.
sunny. I'm a little further north outside of San Francisco, so
Okay.
Hey.
Yes. So we all know what it's like when it's cloudy out, right? We can't see the sun. The sun is obfuscated by the clouds.
Mm-hmm.
Now we also know what clouds produce. They produce rain, sleet, snow, tornado, hurricane. So clouds produce terrible weather, but it never touches the sun. And the sun is what gives birth to all life here. So no matter how bad the weather is, the sun is untouched. It is unscathed. This is the same with what we really are. What we really are is the sun. And we are untouched and unscathed by whatever goes on with the body-mind. We are the awareness of the body and mind. We are the awareness of thoughts, emotions, bodily sensations, what we call pain, pleasure. We're the awareness of all that. And upon detachment, or because detachment sometimes has a negative connotation, Monique, maybe we can say non-attachment.
Okay.
So with non-attachment to thoughts, emotions, bodily sensations, we reside as the sun. And even though there's all sorts of bad weather going on with the body-mind complex, we know tangibly, not just mentally, we know tangibly that we're fine, that we're okay. And once we have that space from the non-attachment, that's the area that we can now work. We have room to operate. And then all the exercises and protocols that are actually very, well, as you know, very simple, but quite effective and profound.
Yes.
It gives us this space, Monique. This is really the key. And it's why so many people struggle with self-healing. It's because they see themselves as the issue, as the disease, as the whatever. It's just not true. You're the awareness of it. And another analogy, if I'll just throw another one out there, because I love analogies. So when we get in our car, we know that we're not our car. We know that. Now, if something is wrong with the car, needs a new starter, new brakes, or whatever it is, we just fix it. We're completely dispassionate about it. We don't make a big deal about it. We don't emotionalize over it. We don't give ourselves anxiety or depression because we just have to have the starter changed.
Right.
So we simply just address what is not working properly in a very non-attached or detached way. We either do it ourselves or we take it to a mechanic.
Right.
And that's that. Now, that level of non-attachment and detachment, I feel, is necessary in order to put the body-mind back together when it's been severely damaged. If you see it as a vehicle that houses consciousness, which is the truth, that allows you to work with your starting point as the truth. Your foundation is strong because now you've got some space and now you can do work that you need to do. And the work that you need to do is specifically outlined within the Ascend the Frequencies Healing Technique, which is in the book.
Yes. And folks, it's step by step. It's very clear. It's very concise. And again, you have to do the work, though. You can't sit back and just read it and think that, woo, the magic is going to happen. You have to do the work. And I'm really emphasizing that it's not hard work, but if you don't invest in yourself, who else is going to invest in you? If you don't love yourself, who else is going to love you? And to me, the supercharged self-healing is all about self-love. because you're taking the energy in, or at least that's how I felt. And I got chills while I'm talking about that. But RJ, let's talk about something you speak about in the book, and that is the four directions of consciousness. You talk about reason, you talk about emotions and feelings, faith, and the will. How does all of that intertwine with helping ourselves to become non attached so that we can allow the healing frequencies to work for us?
Oh, Monique, that's a great question. Okay. So what I've found is that a soul normally has a certain way that it likes to operate. And when I say likes to operate, it's a certain way in which a soul gets its best results.
Mm-hmm.
And what I discovered is that there's really only four ways that we can work with ourselves in terms of getting results. And those are those four ways that you just outlined, which is reason. And you can think of reason as the intellect if you want to think of it that way. Faith, which is
Mm-hmm.
obviously that sort of tangible connection to something greater than yourself,
Mm-hmm.
right? Emotions and feelings, we all know what emotions and feelings are. And then the will, right? Which is simply determination. When you harness your energy and you focus it to one thing, you now are harnessing willpower. And we use our energy, which is our will,
Mm-hmm.
for everything that we do, literally everything. Now, all we have to do in that book, and there's questions that we ask ourselves so we can determine, because we might not know consciously, but this way we can determine which way do we get our best results. Do I get my best results when I just rely on faith, that I just know that if it's meant to be, it's meant to be, and it'll work out, and I'll just do the work, and I know what is going to happen is just going to happen? Do we
Mm-hmm.
use our gut, our intuition, our feelings and emotions more to guide us in terms of our day-to-day life, in terms of decisions that we have to make, in terms of what situations and who and what things to get involved with? Do we use our emotions and feelings? Some people like to operate that way.
Mm-hmm.
Some people like to use reason or the intellect by reducing everything and compartmentalizing and analyzing things through mentalization. And some people get their best work through doing that. And then the last thing, what I found is that some people get the best results in terms of what they're trying to achieve if they simply will their way to do it. And we all know, like, if we're trying to do something, sometimes we're just like, all right, I'm going to power through this. I'm going to
Mm-hmm.
make this, I'm going to make it happen.
Mm-hmm.
No matter how tough or how difficult, I'm going to do it. I'm going to make it happen. Now, some of us work better that way. Some of us work better with faith. Some of us work better with emotions and feelings, and some of us work better with reasoning or the intellect. Now,
Mm-hmm.
once you determine which one you rely on most to get your best results, you can then harness that and use that almost as that's your gas, that's your foot on the gas pedal as you do all these different exercises and protocols, harnessing and relying upon what you're already skilled at, which is one of those four things. And some people are skilled at more than one
Mm-hmm.
and rely on more than one, but you're almost working from your comfort zone. And that allows people to feel confident that they're going to be able to do what they need to do because they're within their initial comfort zone in terms of how that specific soul or person likes to work.
Okay. So let's say that you're a person that you need to know the answers. It's an intuitive, I get calls every day, all day long. And, I need to know this and I need to know that. And I was like, no, you don't need to know. But I help people find, their own answers. I'm not a telling intuitive, if you will. I help you discover yourself. And sometimes I find myself caught in that trap. And when I was working with the book on one of my issues, I was like, well, I gotta know, I gotta know. And then all of a sudden, I was reading the book a little further, and it's like, well, why do I need to know? Why should I care? And there were two things that you said in the book that caught my attention to help me let go of the need to know. And that was to ask yourself, I don't know the answer questions. And one was like, how many hairs on a cat? And I went over to my sisters and I looked at the cat and I'm like, I don't know. Do I care? No, I still love Bebop. And that's the end of that. And the other one was, how many windows in New York City? And I'm from New York. And I'm like, a zillion. 10 zillions, zillions of zillions. I don't know. And what does it matter? And that helped me come back to my core. So, how do we get past the planted thoughts, thought forms, worrying about the past, worrying about the future, to present time so that we can utilize the exercises that you present effectively?
Well, the key, and that's another great question. So the key, again, it comes back to non-attachment or detachment.
Mm-hmm.
We only think and emote in context to what our identifications are. So in other words, we can only think and emote based upon the beliefs that we've identified with, the concepts that we've identified with, the ideologies and the roles and the
Mm-hmm.
experiences. So we only think in terms of our identifications. Now, all identifications are false because what we are comes before any identification.
Mm-hmm.
We are pure awareness that is immortal. We are not any of the things that we can perceive.
Right.
So in other words, if you can perceive it, by definition, there's your proof that it's not you, because you're the perception, not what you're perceiving. So when we start to really work with that, not just mentally, but feel that. And one way that we can do this is to just pretend that your two eyes, your physical eyes,
Mm-hmm.
just pretend that your two eyes are floating with no brain attached.
Mm-hmm.
You can't think.
Nope.
Okay. So as you know, Monique, the book is filled with these
Mm-hmm.
little,
Yeah,
what I,
and folks, that
go ahead.
exercise is in the book, folks. So, do it. Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry, I cut you off.
No, that's okay. The book is as we were just talking about, the book is filled with what I call magic tricks. And I mean
Mm-hmm.
real magic, because what we're actually learning to do is to move our energy. Right. And that's what magic is, accessing and manipulating the energies that lie outside of physical sensory perception. Now, we don't see the energy that we're manipulating in order to think and emote and animate our body, but clearly it exists. Now, when we do these actual magic tricks, and make no mistake, these are real magic tricks or
Mm-hmm.
metaphysics,
Mm-hmm.
you're able to command your body of energy and thus put your mental body and your emotional body at rest. And so I can't tell you how many people have said, RJ, I can't meditate. I can't stop thinking, the monkey mind
Mm-hmm.
is going, going, going. Okay. I understand. I totally understand. Do any one of those magic tricks, any one of them, and you actually can't think.
Mm-hmm.
So we go from I can't meditate to completely turning that on its head, and you literally can't think.
Mm-hmm.
Now, once we start to achieve being present, which is non-thought,
Mm-hmm.
now what's happening is all the energy that was stuck in the mental body and stuck in the emotional body is actually coming down like water draining from a bathtub. And now all that energy normally within our body resides just beneath the belly button and above the groin. That's the gas tank, if you
Mm-hmm.
will.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when we're present and clear-headed and calm emotionally, the energy literally sits just beneath your belly button above the groin. That is the starting point for self-healing and self-realization. Once the energy has calmed down, the body automatically starts its self-repair and self-healing program.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to do anything. We get a cut, it scabs over. The body wants to heal itself.
Right.
And the reason why we've lost connection with this, Monique, is because we don't stop thinking and emoting. We keep sending the wrong messages to the mental body, and whatever conceptual reality we create for ourselves,
Mm-hmm.
the body has the tangible experience. If we're creating the story in our head, and it's just a story, it's false.
Right.
If we're creating a story in our head, the body then has to have that tangible experience. So we know, most of us know, we make ourselves sick. We stress ourselves out. We make ourselves sick. Well, here's the most important thing about that. The opposite is also true. If we create a truly expanded state of consciousness,
Mm-hmm.
your body has to have the tangible experience of that as well. And that's part of the paradigm shift of this book, of the work that I do, that we all seem to know how to make ourselves sick, and we all do it.
Mm-hmm.
But now what we need to do is to understand that we have the exact same ability to self-heal and self-repair ourselves when we do these exercises properly.
Wow. It's light but heavy at the same time, because people, need to do the work. In the book, you talk about true imagination being magic. Talk to us about that, because, we've talked about what we program in, and generally it's something that we truly don't want, but we just can't help but bring that lower vibration in. So how do we raise the vibration with imagination and letting it turn into our magic?
Another great question, Monique. So the first thing that we have to do is we have to let go of the past future back and forth paradigm. Okay, we have to let
Mhm.
go of that. In fact, not to get too trippy, but it makes complete sense. The future is the past, because you can't have a future that's not based upon a past.
Mhm.
So really, the future is the past. It's just projected into a moment that's not occurring right now. So
Mhm.
what we really need to understand is past and future is just mental machinations. Now, those are limitations because they're already based on something. Pure imagination has no limitation. None.
Mhm.
Zero. Okay. So this is what we are. We have no limitation. We just identify with things, which gives us our limitation program. So the ability to stop thinking, constantly thinking, which is just really the movement of the past.
Mhm.
Once we learn how to get our energy out of our mental body and we're fully present, now we have carte blanche to imagine whatever reality we would like for ourselves, because we're no longer tethered to a past,
Mhm.
right? You're literally starting over. And another way to do that is pretend that you just arrived here. No past, no future.
Okay. I'm sorry, I was just digesting that.
Right.
Boy, I could
It
just go
it
ahead.
is the non-thought, the ability to get ourselves present.
Mhm.
And one way to do that again is, right, like I just said, pretend you just arrived here. No past, no future.
Okay. Okay, I want to switch gears for a moment, and I want to focus on your website a bit because there's a lot of information there, folks, and you'll get a true sense of all that RJ has to offer. So if you visit ascendedfrequencies.com, RJ, what are we going to find there?
You are going to find a lot of information.
What
Yes.
aren't we going to find there?
Right, right. Well, one of the things that I'm very excited about, and rarely do you ever hear me say that I'm proud of something. There's I developed a mobile app, and so there's some courses on there that you can purchase through the website, and then you can literally download it onto your phone or do it right off the computer if you like.
Mhm.
And so now people have everything that they actually need for self healing and self realization right on their phone. And so all the teachings that are in the book that we're talking about, I not only turned that into a mobile app, but what I did was I spent me and my team, it wasn't just me, believe me, uh,
Mhm.
there is 3D modeling that captures some of the things that I see from a higher consciousness perspective. So as you're doing the exercises, you can actually look on your computer, look on your phone, you can actually see what's happening to you energetically as you're doing it. Absolutely
Oh,
amazing.
cool.
Yeah, there's whiteboard animation. If people are familiar with whiteboard, the hand that draws
Mhm.
really fast.
Mhm.
So I had everything done also in whiteboard animation. So it's an absolutely fun, interactive way and highly educational way to actually go through this. You can do this with a family member. You can do it with your kids. So you see the 3D modeling, you see the whiteboard animation. I had state of the art computer graphics put in there, all these different images, and you
Mhm.
see what's actually happening. It is the most comprehensive, effective, and fun program on self-healing that exists, and it is available. Like I said, you can actually, it's an actual app that you can get. There's other courses that are also on the website in terms of how to deprogram your subconscious mind,
Mhm.
which dictates most of our behavior, and we don't realize that because we don't have conscious access to our subconscious mind. It's
Mhm.
why we keep recycling experiences over and over again. So I developed a technique or a protocol, however you want to say it, to access the subconscious mind. It's very easy, it's very simple, and incredibly effective. And you start to understand why your life is the way it is. There are certain deep rooted subconscious patterns that are constantly replaying themselves. And that's why we typically get the same results in our life over and over. Tough with relationships, tough having
Mhm.
business success, tough making improvements on our mind body. Most of that has to do with subconscious programming, and we don't even realize it. And so there's an entire course on
Mhm.
there that you can get that teaches you how to deprogram that, which allows you to take command and control of your life in the way that you're capable of, in the way that you're destined to, and in the way that it is your divine right to create without limitation, and to create in a way that is truly reflective of who you are, rather than the programming that goes on within this realm. So there's the online courses, there's the mobile app, there's, I think I've put 40 hours of video on there. So if people like to hear me ramble about this stuff, they can watch videos with me, lots of interviews and things like that. So you can hear me talk about things. And there's many articles that I've written that are there for free as well. So it is truly a wealth of information. And normally when people go on the website, they actually spend quite a long time on the website. And I can't recommend that enough. And I can't recommend enough the book. And as well as some of these courses, they are truly revolutionary, and they are truly life-changing. And what's most important about them, Monique, is that it finally becomes your life.
Exactly.
When you start to work in this way, and that's the key.
Yes. Well, the one thing you didn't mention, which is something I'm most interested in, and it starts July 2nd, and that's the self-mastery course.
Yes. Yeah. So yeah, that's right. I did not mention that. It's the self-mastery course I'm going to be teaching live.
Okay.
So it's going to be once a week, probably for about an hour to an hour and 15 minutes over about a 4-month period. And then once a month, I'll also include just a live Q&A with everyone who takes the course. So you can actually ask me the questions that are at the forefront of your mind. And it will be information, teachings, wisdom that is currently not available in this realm, on this planet. And so it is authentic self-mastery, or what literally exists beyond enlightenment. And believe it or not, Monique, there's much. There's much that exists beyond enlightenment. And just to add to that, putting your body back together is an aspect of authentic self-mastery, which you have complete dominion over your body mind and your body of energy, and even be able to access other energies. So that's an aspect of self-mastery, and that's one of the things that actually exists beyond enlightenment. And I'll even give some examples of incarnations of certain beings that were operating beyond enlightenment. And it'll just be fascinating to see, and it'll be completely life-altering for people to hear some of the information that goes along with what's available to a being when they move past enlightenment.
Wow. Very, again, heavy but light. Now, for the person who's read the book or is going to read the book and they want, a little bit more personal contact, do you offer one-on-one sessions with people? And if so, how often?
Yes, I do. I think I'm booked for a few months. I think what's available, it starts around June or the middle of June, something like that. But yes, you can go onto the website. You can pick a date and a time if it's available. It's like a calendar, and you just pick that, and then you're able to book the session. You digitally fill out this waiver form, and then you have a session booked, and we spend an hour essentially on anything that someone would like to talk about. That hour is whatever it is they want to work on. And I'm happy to help people with whatever it is that they're working on. And I've been asked every single question I think that could possibly exist. So it ends up being really helpful for people because, one, they're offered a perspective that they weren't currently operating with. And when you have a different perspective, everything changes.
Yes, it does.
And
now, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Okay, I got to ask this question, and it's about your household. Your partner, Jennifer, and your 2 little mixed Jack Russells and Chihuahuas. How do they work with all of this energy?
well, it's interesting. One of the Jack Russells, he left his body. That's okay. He's around all the time. He left his body. I guess it's now a year. Wow. So it's a year ago, believe it or not. Okay. And the other Jack Russell Chihuahua is here. So normally when I'm doing we'll say if I'm meditating, but I'm kind of always in a meditative state anyway. But if I'm doing some real high frequency work, the one Jack Russell I'm looking at her now, I know this is audio, but she'll literally come over and just sits on my lap because she likes to sort of sit in that high frequency.
Interesting. My dog does that too. When I meditate, no matter where she's at in the house, she will come and sit on my lap.
Yeah.
And at first I was like, no, shoo, go away, go away. And then I'm like, no, she needs it or wants it, whatever. Very interesting.
Yeah. The other effect, I'm told, is that it becomes, you're able to operate free of thought and emotion.
Mm-hmm.
And the environment that I create is such a high frequency environment.
Mm-hmm.
And even in the hospital, the nurses would actually ask if they could come in and sit silently and have their lunch because the room
Oh, wow.
felt so good. So
Uh-huh.
when you operate in a high frequency way, it ends up affecting your entire environment.
Mm-hmm.
And so my partner, she's like, I don't even think. I feel like I'm floating the whole time, and she doesn't have to sort of do anything for it. So maybe she's riding the high energy or high frequency
Wave.
Yeah.
Oh, fabulous. Boy, I've enjoyed speaking with you so much. I could talk to you for hours, and I know you've got other things to do. So why don't you share a pearl of wisdom that you would like to leave with our audience today, to help us get through this time of dense, heavy energy. Everybody says, oh, the energy is so heavy, it's so dense, the war, the this, the COVID, the that, help us, give us something.
Yes, and please go back to that analogy I talked about the sun and the clouds.
Mm-hmm.
And know that whatever is going on here doesn't really touch the real you. It does not touch your essence, just like no matter how bad the weather is, and no matter how long it goes on for, it doesn't touch the sun.
Mm-hmm.
The sun remains unscathed. And know, everyone who listens to this, know that what you really are is untouched by everything that goes on here. What you really are is untouched by what goes on with your body-mind. You are far, far beyond and far, far more than everything here added together. And to start to feel this within your own heart, let yourself be so present that you begin to tangibly feel what I'm talking about. That no matter what's happening, it doesn't really affect you. And when we start to do this, when all of us start to do this, we're going to start to all behave in a different way. Because we're going to start to realize that peace, that completeness,
Mm-hmm.
that love that we feel inside of ourselves is the same for everyone. That's what we all are. We're not this suit. We're not the emotions.
Mm-hmm.
We're not even the actions that we take. We're beyond all of those things. And once we start to experience that within ourselves, we'll be able to connect and commune with others in the same way. And then all this drama just disappears, just like the clouds part and you can finally see the sun.
The sun.
That's how you do it.
Oh, love it. You can't see me, of course, but I've got my hands clasped together in honor and thanks for you, eternal thanks. RJ Spina, the book is Supercharged Self Healing, a revolutionary guide to access high frequency states of consciousness that rejuvenate and repair. Folks, I don't say this often. This is the one book you should get on healing self. It's simplistic if you just do the work. Don't think about it, just do it. Allow yourself, and I think that's the operative word, the allowing. Allow yourself to be, to do, and let go of preconceived outcomes. Just go with the flow. And I don't know about you guys, but I'm sitting here talking to this gentleman, and the frequency has risen. I am seeing golden pink spots all over the place, which is a positive for me, high vibration. So as you listen to this, just allow your vibe to go wherever it needs to go. Okay, because it will adjust and you won't find yourself in the same energy that you started listening to this program with. RJ, thank you so much. To the audience, thank you so much. I appreciate your time and attention. And everyone, please remember that the most important choice that you can make is what you choose to make important. Consider making the masterful choice of supercharged self-healing. Abundant blessings, light, love to all. Agape.